Hey everyone, welcome to my channel for another exciting and fun-filled episode on this Passagemaker Dingy build series. We got lots to do, so let's get at it. Alrighty then, sorry for the background noise, got the AC running. So the skids are all ready to go, we're all cleaned up. Just gonna put some thickened epoxy over them and set them down. Looks like I did get off a little bit on these screws. Maybe you can see here. So this one's off center pretty good. And this one here, the other side came out really good. But anyways, I think we're still pretty close here. It may be off just a little bit more than I'd like, but not too much. So we'll live with it. Anyways, my plan is to go ahead and butter them up with thickened epoxy, put them down, and try to put one strap across real lightly and get one screw in first, at least. And then go from there. But that's what I'd kind of like to do, I think, is before I really do any tightening down, is get one of these middle screws in and see if that helps us from getting a thickened epoxy all over the darn place. So let me get going. Yep, this is a big mess waiting to happen, I can tell already. So this is B, and front is this side. I'm all turned around here. How am I gonna do this? I hadn't thought this one through. Now at least we're the right way. Alright. Alright, let's see if we can get at least one strap over here. Alright, now I'm going to use just a regular screwdriver to see if I can hand place those screws and get them started in this middle spot here. Ow! That hurt. I got the one on this side. The one over here, though, I think I'm... Alright, now I feel better. I was able to use a nail to line that hole up a little bit better to get us in the pre-drilled hole. So now it's just a matter of putting on the straps and hopefully get this lined up a little bit more. Alright, good deal. So I got the two just hand tightened kind of in the front. Putting a nail up through the bottom and centering that hole really helps a lot. Pro tip. Alright, let's get this, if we get this back one down, we should be able to get this finished up pretty quickly here. We'll tighten it up a little bit. Just see if I can get a nail in there and get those screws in without doing too much more. That would be real nice to get a win here. Hand tightening this one, it seems like it's slipping a little bit. Let's see if we can get a little bit more pressure on it. Now I'm going to hand tighten the rest of these down. Gives me a little bit better control, I think. We'll see how it goes. Nope, I can't get the enough leverage on the ones underneath the center seat, so I'll just hit it with the impact driver here real quick, see if we can get. Whew. Alright, now how we're looking here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, got good. Are they almost straight? Yeah, looks like they're mostly straight. Not too bad. Alright, good deal. So let me just, I think I'm going to go ahead and take off the straps now and do some fillets. My favorite. And the ones on the other side are going to be, or on the inside are going to be a little bit tricky. Let's see, how am I going to do that? There we go. This first pass is just to clean it up. I'll put the remaining thickened epoxy in a bag and we'll clean this up here in a little bit. Alrighty, well that's gonna have to be good enough. I'll probably come back out in a couple hours and do the denatured alcohol. Oh, I just probably need to clean up just a little couple spots and we'll be done. So I'll pause here. These should be dry by tonight. So I'll come out tonight, early evening. The only sanding I've got left is here on the top and along that side a little bit. So I got to sand these guys. Right, actually, I've got to de-wax them. I got that de-waxer. So now, since I used the tropical hardener for both the skids and the skeg, then I'll use the de-waxer on those guys, sand this down, and maybe we're ready for starting the epoxy of the whole boat tomorrow. I have to think on this. This is going to be tricky because I want to use the regular epoxy and I want to put 2 coats on without sanding in between. So we'll have to think about this. But anyways, I'll pause here, clean this up, and we'll be back later. When I came out to work on the boat last night, the temperatures were actually kind of cool, and the epoxy, the tropical hardener epoxy, hadn't quite set up. It was probably okay, but it just felt a little bit soft, I guess is the term I'd use. So I didn't do any work on the boat last night. So we're out here first thing in the morning, mostly, to start doing some work on the boat. But when I was cleaning up after doing the skids here, I noticed we had a split back here in this rail. When I put the screw in, it split. And if you remember, this was the side I had put the wedge in, and also I had gone forward, so I probably should have ended up moving the pilot hole back just a little bit. I don't know if that would have helped in this case or not. But anyway, so when I saw the split, I went ahead and put this clamp on here, and I had smushed some thickened epoxy in there and put this clamp in there as tight as I could get it. So let's see if we get any movement here. Ow. Nope. So I think we're mostly recovered from this. We'll see how it looks when I do some cleanup on it. I couldn't get in here to clean it up very well, or even with some denatured alcohol. So got a little bit of work to do there, and we'll see. I might be doing something else with these skids too that I was thinking about, but we'll see how that goes. So anyways, yep, the chore for today is to finish getting the exterior of the boat ready. So I'll need to do the de-waxer on this guy, on these fillets, and on the fillet for the skeg, and then do some sanding. The other thing I want is, again, the order of operations they have in the manual don't quite make sense to me all the time. And further down the road, they've got us cutting out the slot for the dagger board here. Well, it doesn't make sense to me to wait and do the slot for the dagger board after you've already epoxied the whole exterior, right? Just, why would you do that? It just doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna, like I said, we'll do the cleanup, and we're gonna also cut the slot for the dagger board here, which is gonna be pretty interesting. So anyways, let me get at it, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, well, I managed to forget to hit record when I drilled these holes. It was pretty interesting. So I started out with, I think it was a 3/16, or yeah, it must have been 3/16, and then drilled one hole, and then used this little piece of aluminum rod here to find out if I was close to the center, and I was off this way just a little bit. So I drilled another one. That got me close enough. So now I've drilled a 1/2-inch hole, and then I used a round rasp file here to clean that out. Now we've got I've got the router, and I've set it up so that the bit is as far out as possible. So I want the roller to be down as deep as possible, because when we put the dagger board trunk in, we had thickened epoxy on the bottom of it. We were able to clean up the outside, but not the inside. So if there's thickened epoxy, and there will be in there, I'm hoping that it's not, it doesn't, we hit a clean space here with the roller when we go in. If not, it's not the end of the world. We can go back, clean it up, and rerouter it, I hope. But yeah, so now it's time to put a really big long gash in the bottom of this boat. All right, let's just do it. It's the only thing we can do is just do it. I don't like starting in the hole like this either, but got to do it. And I'm going to put headphones on because this is going to be loud. If I put the earmuffs on here, I won't be able to hear myself cursing, so that's probably a good thing. That wasn't too bad. I think there should be only one spot in here. Yep, there's one spot right here. One over here. And we'll come back here in a little bit and put a round over, pretty good size round over this whole slot. But yeah, that went pretty good. I'm pretty darn happy with that. Might need to clean up the edges a little bit. All right, good. Let's see, how am I going to do this? The reason I want to clean this up now is that when we do the round over, I want to make sure I've got a nice smooth edge here at the bottom where the roller will go, so that we get a nice bobble free round over. See if some 80 grit will do us and smooth this out for us nice. Ow. Alrighty, pretty sure they called for a 3/8 inch radius on this. Let me just check real quick. Yep, 3/8 inch round over. I just got to find it now. There it is. Alright, well the content creator gods have been against me all day, but we'll see if we can get this done. Got utility trucks and moving trucks and garbage trucks that just seem to be gravitating around here today. And then we had an hour and a half long heavy rainstorm, but I think this is about as quiet as it's going to get, and I want to go ahead and finish off this slot. I did do some pretty good sanding. I probably need to do one more pass on the sanding for the entire boat, but let's get this dagger board slot here done first. Where did I put the right here? So I've got the 3/8 inch round over bit on the router. One of the things I'd like to do too now is once I put it in, I'll do a test run on a scrap piece of wood just to make sure I've got it where I want it. So I think this is good. Let's get this round over done here. Well, that looks pretty darn good. That's a miracle. Just need a little bit of a light sand on that, and we are good to go. Look, yep, looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. All right, so the last thing I want to do here is take out these darn stainless steel screws like I talked about. Somehow I managed to get epoxy in this one here, but so I dug the epoxy out, so we should be good to go here. Got the impact driver. I'm hoping these come out relatively easy. If not, they're staying in. Good deal. Good deal. Yep, so now I'll do some light sanding on this edge here and then finish up. I'll probably do one more pass on the whole boat with the orbital sander, 120 grit, and then wipe everything down. And yeah, maybe tomorrow morning we'll come out and start coating the epoxy on here. I'm thinking that I'm going to get up at around 2:33 a.m. and come out and put one coat on, a light thin coat, and then wait a couple hours and come back out again and do another coat is what I'm kind of thinking. But let me see how it goes. Let me think about this a little bit more. Like I said, I'm going to do some more light sanding and get the boat ready to get a whole coat of epoxy on here. All right, so yesterday as I was cleaning up the bottom of the boat here, the skids in the skeg kept bothering me. And, you know, especially on the skeg, you've got the edge grain of the plywood here, and then the skids. I just thought I could do something a little bit different here. So what I've decided was that the skids themselves need more protection than what epoxy would just give you. So last night I ordered some heavier fiberglass to cut a strips to put a strip of fiberglass over each skeg and over the skeg to give them a little bit more wear resistance. The fiberglass I ordered is a 1708, I guess biaxial, but it's a stitched fiberglass. In other words, so the fiberglass, the 6-ounce fiberglass we've been using on the boat, is a woven fiberglass that and you saw the strings can come apart pretty easy. So the stitched should be able to allow me to cut a nice strip of fiberglass to put on here. I know I'll have to do some cleanup afterwards, but hopefully I can get a strip of this heavier fiberglass on both skids and on the bottom of the skeg to protect it a little bit. The other thing I was thinking is that this is the front edge of these skids are, I just don't like them. I think that, you know, they're kind of blunt, and I probably should have done a better job of shaping the front edge of the skids here a little bit better. So I'm going to come back, and I think I'm going to take some thickened epoxy, and I've got a something I lost already. What did I just do with it? I just had it. Anyways, there it is right here. So I just cut out of a plastic tub thing. I just cut a little form, and I'm hoping that I can put some thickened epoxy under here and get a more of a pointed form here, and see how that looks. If it if it doesn't look good, or it doesn't seem to work, then we'll abandon that and look for something else. But anyways, let me get some thickened epoxy mixed up, and we'll see if we can get some forms on here. And then, like I said, I'll be waiting for the afternoon to get the heavier fiberglass. We'll get that cut, and then hopefully early tomorrow morning, very early, we'll be able to start putting epoxy on the whole boat. All right, got just a little bit of clear epoxy I want to put here. No idea if this is gonna work. I need a paper towel and this guy. Well, this isn't as slippery as I thought it would be. Yeah, I should have put some clear epoxy on it. Alright, I'm going to let that sit, and hopefully as it starts to dry, I'll be able to use the denatured alcohol trick to smooth that out. But I think having a little bit more of quite a bit more of a taper there is going to help us in the long run. If I got enough to do the other side, maybe. I'm using the regular epoxy here too, so we should get a pretty quick set time, and hopefully this afternoon I can do any sanding or any cleaning up that I need to do on these. All right, we'll go ahead and pause here. I'm gonna probably keep messing with this, and then like I said, we'll get the fiberglass cut for this, and be back later. Alrighty, that's what I was looking for right there. That looks real nice. I was able to use denatured alcohol when it had just started setting up to get out here and smooth this out to a nice shape. Really happy with that. I think both of them are pretty good. They're not exactly equal, but I think that's good enough. That's what I was looking for. A nice taper. So good. So now I've got this is dry enough where I should be able to just do some light sanding on this, just to clean it up a little bit, especially around the edges here, and then do the oh yeah, I also filled in those screw holes with just regular clear epoxy. I made sure to put a nail down there as I dribbled it in to work it around. So I think we got a good fill on both of these holes, sealed up pretty good. And yeah, so next thing is to, like I said, do some light sanding there, do a final wipe down, and then I did get the fiberglass, so I've got to cut it, and I'll probably bring it out and have it all ready to go for tomorrow. I'm still planning on around a 3:30 wake up call to come out here and do the first coat, and then come back out again 3 or 4 hours later and do a second coat of epoxy on the whole boat. We'll see how it goes. So anyways, I'll pause here. Let me get this cleaned up. I'll probably be back before we get into the epoxy, but we'll see. All right, so good. So we're all wiped down. I've got the fiberglass all measured out and cut and sitting where it's going to go. Probably going to just ease it off the edge, and when I get ready to put it on, I'll wet out the surface first, put the fiberglass back over it, and then wet that fiberglass out again. I wanted to show you, so I have a hunk of what this stuff is, and you can see here the stitching on it, and on the back side is a matte chop strand kind of stuff, so it's woven, so that's why we won't see the loose threads that this stuff, and you can also see see how light that is, and this is a lot more substantial. So I think this is going to really give us some good protection on the skid and the skegs. I'd actually thought about doing it around the dagger board case, but I was worried about trying to get it so that it doesn't interfere with the dagger board. So for now, I think we'll go with the epoxy on this. I could use the 6-ounce cloth here, but still, again, trying to get it over the curve and wet it out inside without making this gap any smaller would be a challenge. So I think we'll stick with epoxy for now. So yep, so we're all ready to go. And then also I am ready. So we'll do this. I'll do the first run, the first coat. And I'll get the fiberglass down and everything, do the coat of epoxy over the whole boat, and then come out 3 or 4 hours later and do another coat. And then at that time, I'm also going to do the rub rails, which I just remembered I need to wipe down. So these rub rails come in an 8-foot piece, and I think this is about a 4-foot piece. And you have to scarf them together with thickened epoxy to get the length. And there's 2 on each side for the rub rails. So you put the thickened epoxy in the joint and then stick them together, and then use spring clamps to hold them together. So that'll be the second chore for tomorrow morning, will be to get these guys together so that we can do the next step is to put these guys on, which looks to be a challenge. They don't have a lot of bend in them, and and they're pretty long. They actually go doubled up on each side, so that'll be fun. But anyways, we'll get these together tomorrow. So I'll pause here, and we'll be back to do the epoxy on the boat bright and early, way before bright and early tomorrow morning. Well then, it is right at 3:30 a.m. and time to get this party started. So I'll go ahead and, like I talked about, I'll do the strips of fiberglass first, and then we'll start on the whole boat. It's 73 in here now. I've got the AC on. Sorry for the background noise, but that's the way it is. So I'll go ahead and, like I said, we'll get this party started and see how it goes. My plan is to get this first coat on and go back to bed for about 3 hours or so, and come back out and put another coat of epoxy on the boat. And I want to do that to get 2 coats on at least. I'm going to try to put these coats on as thin as possible and see what kind of coverage we get, and if I think it needs it, we'll put on more coats of epoxy. But I don't want to sand in between coats, so that's why I want to do a hot coat kind of thing like we've done before. Hopefully this works out a little better. Not using peel ply, so hopefully it'll go good. I have a feeling this this fiberglass here is going to be pretty thirsty, or at least more thirsty than what we're used to. Alright, well that doesn't look too bad. I can tell I'm going to have to do quite a bit of sanding along the edges to get a little bit of a round over. But other than that, I think we're doing pretty good there. So on to the next one. Just trying to straighten out the fiberglass, and then I remembered the skeg has a little bit of a curve in it, so it's gonna have, what was that they call it? Oh yeah, character. Skeg's got a little bit of a character, so. Alright, now the fun part starts. Hopefully we can get this rolled out in no time so I can get back to bed. Alright, well I got a shiny boat now. So that's something different. So yeah, so it took me about an hour and 35 minutes, which is about 35 minutes longer than I wanted to take. But that's alright. I think we got a fairly good coat on here, and like I said, we'll come back here in about 3 hours and slap another coat on it, and then do up the rub rails. Yeah, we got to do the rub rails today too. So we'll go ahead and pause here, and we'll probably be back to do the rub rails. Alrighty then, I got the second coat on, and now it's time to do these guys up. So I've already wiped them down. So we're supposed to put the thickened epoxy on one side, put them together, and then use spring clamps to hold them together. So this ought to be fun. All right, here we go. All right, I guess it's not too hard, but hopefully they're pretty close. Alright, I'm stopping now before I screw something else up. So pause here. Should be able to get back out here this afternoon to clean these up and take a look and see how that the epoxy coating went. I think it went okay, but we'll have to really take a look after it dries. So we'll see it then. good deal. So it's been about 12 hours. The temperature today wasn't that hot, but it was still up in the upper 70s, 80s. So I think this is probably cured. Let's go ahead and see if we can get the clamps off here. All right, it's not looking too bad. Well, geez, I think they came out pretty good. This wood they provide for the rub rail is kind of different. It looks like it almost might have something on it already, like a fiberglass coat that they had peel ply on or something. There's a kind of an even texture. I doubt if it'll pick up on the camera, but yeah, it's almost like a peel ply type of texture or something there. I don't know. Anyway, so now the job is to get these cleaned up and get them ready to put on. And let's see. Oh yeah, so the other thing I want to do, so the epoxying came out okay. Not great, but okay. And I'm not going to do any sanding or anything on this. When I do, well, I am going to do some sanding. So I want to get rid of the sticky bits here on the fiberglass and just smooth out the edges a little bit, just to keep make sure that we don't get them caught on anything, and to see how they look with just some cleanup. So I want to go ahead and get the edges done on both the skids and the skeg. So I'll get that done. The paints I've been looking at all want you to do a sanding of 80 grit before you even put primer down on whatever you're doing. So I'm not going to do anything else with the bottom except for that right now. The main goal was to get it sealed up, so looks like that's pretty good. So anyways, let me get going on some of this stuff, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, then I got the most of the pointy bits sanded off of the fiberglass on the skids and the skeg. I've got the rub rails all cleaned up and ready to go, and that's the next step. So I got to flip the boat over and start getting the rub rails on. Looking at the instructions, it's pretty lengthy process, but we're gonna have to wait for next episode to get into that. Looking at that rub rail installation, I'm not sure that I'll have a video out Wednesday, because like I said, it's pretty involved. Putting one on, letting the glue dry, putting the other one on top of it, letting the glue dry, cleaning it up. So I'm not sure I'll have enough stuff for the next video Wednesday. So maybe a delay there, but just hit that notification bell and you'll know when my next video comes up. Anyways, I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Please leave me any comments, questions, suggestions down below. Please tell your friends about me. And please subscribe. Everyone, take care and be good.